a little shorter. We've got a brand new intro for you guys. Of course, it's New Year and it's Hemp Tour's live podcast recording here. So we're excited to get with you guys today and talk about what's new in the world of Texas hemp. So yesterday we did something really cool. Oh, I guess first I should say who we are. I am Leah Laxtons. I'm your host. I'm the co-founder of Higher Ed Hemp Tours. We are an Austin, Texas-based hemp edutainment company, and we're also the creators of the hemp business builder Inner Circle. So I'm here with my two awesome co-founders, co-hosts today. We've got Captain Cannabis in the room.
Hey guys, keeping those positive vibes towards this awesome, amazing medicinal plant. Oh, is that okay by the FDA's standards?
Right. I think positive vibes are okay for any standard.
Well, I said medicinal plants.
Oh, so. Right.
Well, these things are not like confirmed by the FDA, but hey, everyone else says it.
They're pro, I don't know if they're pro good vibes. I hope so. I'm sure they are at some point. That's awesome. You're looking very spiffy today. So, and also have, of course, our amazing producer, Cynthia Morales, on the line. What's up, Cynthia?
Hola. What's up, everyone? Happy Thursday. Love that I get to dress up and do my hair once a week.
What's that shirt? Check that shirt out. Where'd you get that?
It's my new hoodie, actually, that I just got from Shop Mary J's. One, it is super soft, so I love, but it has a really cool design on it. We don't need a good fix. You don't need a good high. I mean, no high, you just want a good high.
That's awesome.
I love it. And I snagged one of the last Mary J beanies last week. So
I know.
I'm excited to sport it.
Yeah, we took a little sneak peek over there as they just reopened again, and not reopened, but redesigned their stores. So it was cool. We totally and picked up some swag as always.
Yes, we have to have our Mary J swag. So last night we did something really cool. A lot of you may be hearing all of the buzz around Clubhouse. So today we'll take a few minutes to walk you through what Clubhouse is, why you should be on it, and how you should be using it for your business, hemp or otherwise. So yesterday we hosted a meetup, I guess you call it a room on Clubhouse. So basically what Clubhouse is it's a new social media app. It's the fastest growing social media app for entrepreneurs at the moment. We know LinkedIn has long dominated this space, like 80% of B2B like deals on LinkedIn are business to business. So it's a huge place where the community meets up. We know it's huge in hemp as well. So Clubhouse is something a little bit different. It's way different. LinkedIn kind of being more like Facebook. Clubhouse is like listening in on a live podcast recording. Oh, kind of like you're doing right now here on Facebook. But the big difference is that, of course, here on Facebook, you can ask us questions, but you have to drop those questions in on like type them out box, which, by the way, you can do right now if you have a question for us. But Clubhouse, you actually listen in and you can raise your hand and actually get brought up on the stage and become a speaker inside of this conversation. So it's very interesting because most of the rooms are pretty business niche focused. Like there are personal rooms, but the vast majority on Clubhouse are like these business rooms. So you can go on there and find everything from like content creation to just really there's a room for everything. Sustainable entrepreneurship. There's huge YouTube video creators on here sharing all these tips. And the reason you should be on it right now is it's new and people are dropping a lot of quality knowledge because they want to get followed on this brand new platform, right? Like you go on there, you have 0 followers. And so they're like, what can I do to grow my followers? Let me just drop everything I know about a subject. So you're getting very high quality content from these people. You know, we were on one the other day talking about YouTube content creation and got a ton of great tips about YouTube shorts. how videos are basically placed at the front or back of the line for YouTube, all kinds of strategies like that. So you need to get on Clubhouse, and
Hang on a
you
second.
may, yes, go
So
ahead.
is it, you're saying it's called Clubhouse? Because I was trying to download the Country Club app. It's not Country Club, is it?
It is not Country Club. No, it is Clubhouse.
Damn,
Yeah.
no wonder I haven't gotten any followers.
And exactly. And this is a great video, or I mean, this is a great article that you can go to check out why Clubhouse has so much of a buzz right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love the way it describes it as a beautiful mess, because you would assume that just, having random people talk with no real rules would be a mess, but no, everyone's super cordial, super nice. It's been a great experience so far.
It really
Yeah.
has. I will say there was one room the other day where they were like, hey, this dude's been bullying people, like block him out of all your rooms. And it was true. He had actually been rude to me at one point, and I was just like, what? That's weird. That's not Clubhouse vibe. And right away they dealt with it. Like, just don't make this guy a moderator. And because that's the thing, people can't talk unless you invite them up to talk. So it's like this protected environment where you can interact. Just like if we were recording this or if we were playing this there, you guys could interact, come up to the stage, talk to us. We can have great guests. So we've decided after last night, it was so much fun, that we're going to be doing a room every week, every Wednesday. I've got to check on this because Cynthia, the normal meeting, does it start at 7 or 8 on Wednesdays?
It starts at 7.
Okay, so that's the one thing. We're probably going to move it to 6, at least on that first Wednesday, because we all want to be there.
We can promote right after that. So while we're on Clubhouse, we can even promote and say, hey, guys, it's time for the normal meeting. So that might help to kick their numbers up too.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll probably be doing it at 6 next week. But what you can do is you can, of course, follow Hemp Tours on Instagram, or you can go to Cannabis Clubhouse on Instagram. And that account is run by Amos Lozano from MJ's Hemp. He's the one that's really spearheaded this whole movement of getting the Texas hemp industry into Clubhouse. He's been doing an awesome job. He helped us moderate last night. So if you want to start your own Clubhouse room, like I highly recommend read through. There's a little bit of etiquette, like a few things you need to know about. It's sort of like keeping things short, concise. I would say like knowing, muting and unmuting, making sure you're doing all that. If you blink,
and you can clap with it too. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, you blink your microphone to clap, which is very interesting. So you'll work your way around it and find out that etiquette. But once you kind of have the etiquette down, start a room,
And they said, don't be douchey. Like when you get on the stage, sure, you're going to you may mention your business, but just give back to the people in the group. And then people will look at your profile and then they'll know what business you're in, but don't be douchey and try to take up all this time talking about your business. And by the way, have you guys checked out Hemp Tours?
Yeah, right. Like shameless plugs to a minimum, it's definitely a sharing ideas kind of space. You link your Instagram into your profile, which is very important because there's no direct messaging inside a Clubhouse. So to communicate with someone that you like, you have to do it through Instagram DM. So make sure that your brand or your personal bio, Instagram is linked there in the bio. That's really important. I don't see a lot of people communicating through Twitter. There's a place to leave your Twitter, but almost always they're like, hey, I DM'd you on Instagram. So make sure that you get that. And people are gaining like massive numbers of Instagram followers as well from this platform, which is really cool. There are a lot of amazing cannabis conversations on here. Cincy Connects is hosting weekly rooms. So you can get on there. You can get lost. Like I highly recommend setting an alarm for yourself where you're not going to go over a certain amount of time. The first week I went way overboard and I was like 15 hours in on Clubhouse or something, like, okay, this is too much. So, balance your levels there, balance yourself. But I think as a hemp business owner and really just a hemp curious individual, it's a great place. And you can join us every Wednesday. We'll be dropping again. I think that time's going to be 6 to 7 p.m. Or it might be that we do it 7 to 8 like we did last night, and then just change it on the monthly normal meeting.
So how about invites? I mean, how does that work?
That's a great point. So it is invite only. So you go sign up for it, and it's going to ping people that you know from your phone. And so do share your contacts. It's going to ping people that you know that are already on Clubhouse, and they can share an invite with you, or a link to join. So you don't get in right away. You got to go to the Clubhouse website, put in your info, reserve your username, and then somebody's going to ping you in to
Can
get
we
started.
help them? Can we help them with Hemp Tours?
We absolutely can. We have, I think, 9 or 10 invites right now. Well, I guess between the three of us, we probably have like 15 invites. So you can drop us a message here on Facebook. Awesome. Brandon says he downloaded the app today. Sweet dude. We look forward to seeing you in there. Lauren said she loves your curly Q mustache, that it looks great.
Thank you. I still need a beard trim, but hey, once the barbers are allowed to, I'll be no,
right. You'll eventually.
But thank you so much. The mustache is still looking good though. I'm just saying.
It is.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
It is. Thanks so much, Lauren. So yeah, awesome. Well, you guys join us on Clubhouse. Drop a note if you want an invite. And I'm super excited we have Grace with us today, because Grace is going to be, we're all going to be co-hosting something together as well. So we'll talk about some of your Clubhouse plans. Grace, what's going on?
Hi, so thanks for having me. Yeah, so what I'm working on right now, and I'm just ironing out a few details, is a co-working room. Where if you just have to, because a lot of the times we have like projects that we need to get done, especially in the hemp space, whether it's just anything entrepreneur wise, but my goal is just to get kind of people in the hemp space together, like what they're working on, whether it be admin or creative, and just kind of focusing on that one task to get it done. So it'll be set for like, what I'm doing is something like Cannabis co-working, which is, people probably know or may not know that I have the on Instagram, Cannabis Co-working, which is also part of another bigger project that I have. But it's essentially just getting people together for a room for maybe like 5 hours or so. I will be in there for about 5 hours. People can come and go as they please.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah. But they'll like, people can just come and go, like whether it just be a lunch break or a snack or whatever. All that matters is when you're in there, you're working, music is playing, and at the top of every hour, we'll be checking in with you. Like, do you have any, like, how are y'all doing on your progress right now? Do you need any help with anything? Like, since I'm in there, if you're working on content, like you can send me your content, like I can maybe give some like feedback for it, or we can all get collective feedback. However, really just figuring out those social norms as it progresses. And because again, it's only going to be for a short time, because the whole point is just to get back to work, and then maybe do a debrief at the very end if people want to do that. But it's just kind of figuring out how people work, because I know I work well in silence and not with like few distractions. Like I love studying with people, but you have to be quiet. So
right.
I can kind of bring that to the community, like what I'm good at and what I like doing. Like as much as I'd like to be super social, I'm actually not really good at that when I have to focus on something. And so I want to bring a little bit of that to Clubhouse. I've kind of seen people do similar things with like rooms where just music's playing, but since it's already a project I have, I just kind of like want to bring it on and see if it works. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, then I tried.
I love it. I think it's really cool because, we were talking about how people just have screen fatigue. Like I know I do. The last thing I want to do is be on a Zoom call on like the weekend. Like, oh, it's your birthday. Great. Sorry. But if I could dial into that birthday party, and while I'm walking around the house, I'm cleaning, I'm like, whatever, walking the dog, whatever I'm trying to get done. So I think that's why this has really captured people's attention. We have screen fatigue. We have shit to do.
Your clothing, right? I mean, it's like every time you have to get on a Zoom call, you have to run, do your makeup, mustache has to be reset, with a hairdryer. I mean, this is like crazy. Now I can just walk around with the mustache, or your makeup's not, the way, or you could be in like your underwear on Clubhouse, and it's great.
Now you know.
Yeah,
Are
you could be
you?
watering your plants, anything.
Are you, Daniel?
I'm in my underwear right now.
Yes.
He's business on top, party on the bottom, I guess. Is that with the hair, the outfit?
Actually, I got my jeans on.
I love that you had to show us to like prove it.
Well,
That
I had to prove it. Got to prove it. I have a question for Grace.
Yes.
Great, Grace. What kind of quality of people out there on Clubhouse have you seen? You know, especially when it comes to classification and how you can see certain classes actually helping other classes.
I've seen it's run the gamut. It really not all in even in random rooms. Like you never know who's going to be in there. There is it really runs the gamut. But you do find that certain individuals are taking charge. They want to be in charge of the rooms, and they take that leadership role in navigating people. Something cool and interesting that I've noticed too is how important it is for definitely one to have like a diverse panel. So there's different backgrounds on there, but then like the mix of personalities that come up, because I was in a room, it was a pretty big room. Cannabis was a part of the conversation, but it wasn't the dominant subject. But then this woman came on, and then this other male interrupted her. But how he interrupted her was kind of rude, but you can tell he didn't mean it. But this person took offense, the female took offense to it. And then somebody was able to navigate through and being like, hey, we noticed while we recognize it wasn't cool, they were able to like peacefully navigate between the two personalities, and an apology was given, where like in real life, if it wasn't Clubhouse and that happened, bad blood would have happened. And then like there would have been kind of like drama and like tension between them. But thankfully, because they were in a Clubhouse environment, they were able to kind of like negotiate between each other and like figure it out here, because it wasn't going to be awkward for everybody else listening to the conversation when it wasn't their intention. So I've noticed that the interpersonal skills within Clubhouse that's coming out in those who are standing up to make sure that's like properly like navigated. So that is the most interesting thing that I've seen pop up. And then when you see the opposite happen, it can get kind of testy, but then it's like, then that's just like, those are more in the casual rooms where just the people are just like, you know, shooting the bull. So it's just, it really depends on the dynamic, and also like what time of day you're on too.
Yes, for sure. That's a great conversation to have, because certainly during the day you get a lot of great, you know, conversations. But I will say that after 5 p.m., I mean, it just exponentially increases on the number of people. So if you start a room at noon, you know, you may get a good 10, 15 people in there. But if you're on after 8, I mean, I saw one of the Texas Cannabis rooms was like 30, 40 people in there. I think Austin Z put it together. He was just like playing around with Clubhouse, like, let me start a room. And then next thing he knew, he'd been on there for 2 hours and there's like 40 people in the room. So the later you go, definitely more interaction. At least that's what I
interesting
found.
Conversations too, right? It's something that, you know, if we're just talking about something that's kind of boring, then people pop in and out. But of course, we always talk about things that are really exciting. But if you're going to do a room, be sure to have some really exciting, good information that people need to hear, right?
Yeah, and it being that benefit to the conversation, and like it really helps people define what value is and understanding what that is and what they're bringing to the conversation, versus, as you were saying before, like if you're just going to promote your business and promote yourself, then it just gets boring. Like, no, like, I mean, it doesn't get boring. We're all interested in what we do, but like it doesn't help further on the conversation of why we should be involved with you. And then that's what really is helping people define their why and then their ask. And that is a completely different dynamic than you would have had with somebody in person, which is kind of changing the game. And even on LinkedIn, it's again, like it's this interpersonal communication where you're just trying to figure out like why you should continue to be here and why people should listen to you. And but also how you can get and pull out of others, which, you know, Daniel, you're already really good at, but it's just like, it's just accentuating those skills in people. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It helps you to get your pitch down, because you need to have a 30-second, you know, pitch that gets right to the pain point without self-promoting, that just sort of tells people who you are, what you're about, what pain points you solve, what your mission is, and then boom, drop the mic, and then try to contribute a little, you know, some kind of value to the conversation, or ask a great question, boom, turn it over. And the room we were in last night, it was so cool because, you know, like I said, I guess I got on Clubhouse about 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, got way too involved in it, took like 2 weeks off. And last night in the room, we had a couple people that were like, hey, I had set the bell, just like YouTube. You set a bell, you can get alerted when somebody comes on and starts a room. And they're like, I'd set the bell, you know, for when you guys came back on, and I'm so excited to be here. So like, you can make a very large impact in a very short period of time, and like speak to your tribe, you know. And of course, this is mostly B2B, so this is industry. So like, if you're a hemp brand, you're a retailer, what can this do for you? Well, you can connect with other hemp brands and retailers around the country. Now granted, they're not verified like with hemp tours, so you got to be careful, but you know, for the most part, it's been a lot of very legit people out there, especially like OGs in the cannabis industry. So follow the ones that you know are giving great advice. Todd McCormick would be my number one pick to follow first, and anybody Todd brings in a room, because that's like somebody who really cares, royalty there. Go follow him. You're going to get tremendous value, and then connect and have fun.
I was thinking too, you know, there's a lot of types of people on there. Now, you know, you'll hear people that maybe say, oh, there's so much big money coming into cannabis and this and that. And they feel upset because there are some bad apples out there with big money. But don't forget, guys, that there's a lot of people that are just like you and me, just like all of us here, that do have a lot of money and are good people. And guess what? When you're on Clubhouse, it's not called country club. No. When you're on Clubhouse, there are a lot of people that have a lot of money that you wouldn't even know, that own really large businesses, giving some very valuable advice, and they're giving back free from their heart, and they're not some of these evil giants that a lot of us might have ran into. So just remember, try to hold back saying certain things that would be insulting to someone like that, because there's a lot of really amazing people that do have a lot of money and large companies on Clubhouse.
Yeah, it's a great place to unite people, right? Of all the way across from our startups that are bootstrapping, unite and connect with some of the larger players in the cannabis and other industries, for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree, because there's been some big people in there, powerful houses, where you kind of know when somebody is fluffing up their resume by how they're talking, but then once you start really listening to them and how they give advice and really where their directions are, those are the ones that's like, oh, even if you have 25 followers, I don't care, you're brand new to Clubhouse, I'm following you. And so it's kind of trusting your instinct on like what you want to continue to follow and who you want to follow, because there's some people in there I would not have expected for, as you know, prestigious is like the wrong word, but like as seasoned individuals on there in certain rooms that I just had no idea you would be in there. Like,
right.
Now you're connecting.
Me too. I was blown away.
On like a different level. Like there was this one marketing guy who also does, I was in a room with them, like we're talking about cannabis and SEO. And he was super cool and he was giving his advice, and like I was right there like gonna be giving my advice as well. And then it wasn't until I looked at his profile and he's like 20 years, this and this and this, and I'm like, oh dang, like I'm in this room with this person on the stage giving this, like talking about the same thing, and I know and I get what they're talking about. And it just kind of like in that moment, that's when like I got nervous, like my anxiety kicked in. But it taught me a valuable lesson that people should be confident. Like especially if you've been in the cannabis industry for a little while, you probably know more than what you think you know. And just kind of like being humble and like being willing to like work with other individuals and not necessarily look at their status or like look at all this other stuff, but really connect on that intellectual level of that information and like your heart of cannabis. That's where you're gonna grow. Like just kind of forget everything else. Just allow and like open yourself up to it. And that's me talking to the choir right now because that's where
I love it.
I 100%
cool.
agree. Yeah, don't get too, like it's cool. You're starting out at zero and, you're not going to get invited on every stage. So it's kind of cool. It's like, oh, I got to rebuild my credibility. Let me come up. I suggest viewing it like a podcast, especially if you're starting a room, like have 4 to 5 talking points in mind. There should be one person that's like clearly running the conversation. And then obviously you can have more moderators and guests than that, but like one person that's ready to step in to move it, keep it on focus and like move it in the right direction. Unless it's a room that's just like meet up here, then I expect the conversation to be all over the place. But the ones I've enjoyed the most are, fairly highly curated. So I think that's another important tip.
And they ask a lot of questions too.
Yeah, definitely getting everybody involved. Lauren has a question about her Clubhouse handle. She's going to sign up. So she owns Happy Karma Hemp, for y'all who may not know, awesome brand based in Austin, Texas, and one of our verified partners. She does some really cool things with energy stones and things like that with her products. So she's asking, should I take the handle Happy Karma or Happy Karma Hemp? I think I'll let you guys weigh in on this as well. I would say it depends on what you're going to use it for. So if you're going to be very cannabis focused, then go with Happy Karma Hemp. But if you're wanting to jump into a lot of different rooms with some of your other interests, then Happy Karma is a great name. God, I would totally let somebody on the stage.
If it's available.
Happy Karma, right? True. If it's available, but I bet it is. Yeah. What do you think, Grace? Any opinions on that?
I agree, because you don't know right now. You don't know if you're going to be shifting or not, and you can only change your name once. So once you pick it, 'cause for me, I was debating on using my actual full name instead of, because I have Texas Cannabis Today as my handle. But I know I'm going to be on there mainly focusing on my career and like networking. And if I'm in there for other things, I'm in there for other things. And so that's what really made me decide to stick to my handle for now. Now with Happy Karma, I'm gonna get really technical right here and take this with a grain of salt. Are you gonna be hemp focused for the rest of your brand's career now too? Because only in Clubhouse you can only change it once. Now I don't know if that rule is gonna change. Now if it is gonna change, like more power to you. But that's at this time right now, it's something to consider. But if Happy Karma is available, I would stick with Happy Karma just to give you that flexibility. So you can go into those wellness rooms, you can go into the spirituality rooms, and you can go into hemp. So it gives you just more flexibility. But at the end of the day, it's a handle for Clubhouse. So.
And I guess I would sort of think about it like Facebook, where you generally do use your full name, because it is true. They're asking for first and last. And when you go in a room, they're like, Chris, come up to the stage, or Grace, come up to the stage. So if you're using your brand name, it might come across a little bit disconnected from that community. So I would actually probably, now that I'm spinning around in my little head for a minute, probably suggest just using your personal name.
Yeah, and then making sure that's in your bio, and that's another whole thing right now. But
and you can change your bio, right, over and over. Yeah. So that's the thing, is if you ever pivot your business, it doesn't matter, your name's there. So
yeah, because like in your bio, because what I would do if it's for you, have your personal name, and then the first 2 to 3 lines are like your business card. So it's always what you're there, like kind of like what you want to be known for, either in that room, because again, you can change it up as much as you want, either in that room or just like you're continuing on reputation, and then where you are. And because that tells people like, hey, I'm in Austin, Texas, and it's a little bit of a flex because it's Austin, but it's telling people this.
It is true though. It gets a lot of pull. They're like, oh, someone from Austin's in the room.
Exactly. And then what I do, since it's my personal one, I put my skills, and my skill section is just so like when people pull me up to talk, they know what I'm there for and like what I can do. And for me, since I focus more on like the technical and the writing portion of it, that's what I like to talk about. So it's more so that's what I want to be highlighted for. And if I go to different rooms, I just change that up just depending on the room. And then it's just like a nice little letter.
Wow.
It's nice like a landing page and just kind of introducing myself, like this is who I am, thanks for doing this, telling people why you're there, like telling people if you add me, what rooms are they going to find you in? And I think that's an important thing, because that's what I put down. Like, you're going to find me in these rooms. So mine's cannabis and psychedelic education, because I like pop and psychedelic education stuff. And then education, consume, like, and etc. So if they see my name, you're going to want to follow me for this, just to like hop into the rooms. And then what you're good at, like your skill sets and like, you know, whatever you talk about. For me, it's like, I go like, oh, Texas Cannabis today, I explain a little bit of that. And then I just thank them and then tell me where you continue to find me. Because at the end of the day, hopefully they've gone all the way down to the socials and then they're going to follow me and they're like, oh, she's also available here too. So, because you're only given so many links. So it's just kind of thinking about like introducing people to you, but then also your brand as well. So how you want to build it.
Yeah. Did I hear this right though? This is amazing. So now, like, if you're looking for a specific position, you know, Lee and I used to always teach people that in their dream job search, that you're going to change up that resume specifically for a specific company that you're interested in getting with. So are you literally saying that you can, if you're going to be spending so much time in different rooms on a particular day, you can switch up your profile so that way when people look at your profile, they can say, oh, I identify with her. Is that what you're saying?
Yep. So like, for example, when I was in like digital marketing stuff and they were talking about SEO, my SEO was like on the bottom. And so I instantly put it to the top. Like I just switched around things. And then I got pulled up to the stage, because those moderators, especially when you're going into it, like, and then you start raising your hand, they're looking at your profile, and it's just keeping the most whatever that day is, just the most relevant at the top. But then of course keeping it a flow, because you want them to be sucked into you. So it's like just like any good lead generation. So just being sucked into me, and then this is where else you can find me. And I would even say like available for podcasts, and follow me on my other social media handles. But really what I'm driving to is my Texas Cannabis today, because that's where all my work is. Because I want you to hire me or follow me there.
Yeah,
so
you're a genius.
It's just that taking that art of like, and that's the whole thing, like the interpersonal communication and like the behavioral science of that, where you're pulling people into you and building what that brand is, because what your goal and intention is to get pulled up on stage or just get people to follow you. And sometimes I just get like random follows. I don't know how people find you when you're not online. I don't get that yet. But sometimes it's like 10 requests and I'm like, sure, cool, follow you back if you have a profile.
That's very interesting. Yeah, because I've had that as well. Typically from people I'm already connected to when they join, and then it says like, oh, you've had like 4 people follow you, because obviously a lot of people are jumping on right now. But sometimes it is random people, and I'm just like, how, like, what did you search for? Hemp? Or is it because I'm following someone else? Like, that's going to be interesting algorithm to figure out.
I had the same experience, you know, because I'm like going, you know, none of my friends have followed me back. I'm like, well, they are aloof. I get it. But but it seems like most of the people that are following me are people I never met before or even know. So that's kind of interesting.
Which is great, but
yeah. But it would be nice if my friends would follow me. Come on, guys.
Yeah, come on, guys. Give Captain Cannabis some love. If he's following you on Clubhouse, please. What are you doing? How rude. No, I love it. I think this is really going to be fun going forward. We'll see how long it lasts. I would love to see it turn into a platform where you could record and cut that for podcast platforms, obviously, would be so dope. But I also think that would lower their engagement. So that may not be the direction. Like, why do they want to roll traffic to iTunes and Spotify, you know, too? They probably want you there on their podcast platform, but it'd be cool to be able to access back, even if it was on their platform, some of the amazing discussions. Maybe that would kill the novelty of it being live though, too. So it's going to be a balance.
I've heard there's different ways that people are navigating it. Like on Sundays, they have like chat with the Clubhouse founders or those people, the Clubhouse team, and they were talking about it last week about how they're working on that process and like what those norms are. And also there was an update where in the future they just got they're I think they're in like level 2 funding, something level 2 VC funding. I don't know. I didn't read that. I don't remember what it said, but they're going to start accessing ticket sales now. So people are going to be able to monetize and then gift in Clubhouse. So
Very
that's
cool.
going to be interesting how that plays out. So I've been just like keeping up with those updates. My favorite one is where you can swipe away rooms you don't want to see anymore. But it's that monetization portion, because I don't know if it's not gonna happen now, but I'm nervous about that killing it later, because I think that's like the fun of it. But at the same time, I don't know how I feel about it yet. I haven't had a decision on it. So
perhaps some sort of crypto tie-in, I could totally see that being a thing. So Lauren is wanting to know our consensus. I think our consensus was to go with your personal name.
Yeah.
And just have happy karma in your bio and on your Instagram page. I think that's what we're thinking.
Because when they invite you on the stage, they like to be personal. And that's what it's all about. And they're always going to look at your profile, so you don't have to worry about that being in your name, right?
Yeah, correct. And we don't have a Hemp Tours one. It's me, Leah Laxton's there. And Grace, you're the same, right?
No, I should though.
You're Texas Cannabis?
Yeah, because I didn't know and I haven't changed it yet.
So when they invite
I would put it as my name though, because that's what I've been debating on. Because at the end of the day, I'm building a personal brand, and that personal brand, whether I'm in cannabis or not, is going to follow me throughout my life, whether I'm in digital marketing, web development, or I don't know.
And I think that people should use the word CBD and their name. I'm just kidding, because that's just one of the over 130 cannabinoids. So you don't want to just blows my mind that so many people, when starting a business, would have CBD so-and-so, or this CBD. Is like, well, what if you pivot? There's CBG, or, you could have anything. It's just kind of funny.
I know.
It's so true.
That's
like
Happy Karma's good.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's a great name, but
and cannabis is good too, because it's the main profile.
Because when people invite you to the stage, Grace, are they like Texas, come up to the stage basically, and then you have to say your name?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah. So that makes it a little awkward, maybe.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree. So that's the reason why I would like to move over to my name, because again, that's my branding. But that's personal brand. At the end of the day, it's my personal reputation. So that's my consensus. If you have your name on there, get your name, and then just build happy karma around it, because you never know. So
yes,
here's another good question.
Another question. Can we have more than one account on Clubhouse? Yeah, you absolutely can. The issue goes back to, you have to have somebody let you in. But I guess you could give the invite. You get 3 free invites when you sign up. You could invite yourself in, right? No rule against that.
I tell you, that's a lot of work though.
That's going to be, you could totally do it. And that way, say you're, like us, for instance, Daniel does consulting inside of commercial roofing still. He has a lot of clients there. So he wants to do a room on there. We're going to cross it over through sustainability, and obviously hemp building practices, merge those two worlds a little bit. But that's why it's kind of great that we have 2 separate profiles, because his is a little bit more construction roofing focused.
However, those construction people, I tell you, 98% of everyone I've ever met in the construction field is very pro cannabis.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny, because even to this day we'll have meetings and they're somehow inevitably somebody finds out that he's Captain Cannabis, so it's you have a serious business meeting, and then at the end they're just okay, dude, but for real though, tell me about Hemp Tours. You're God damn it, I can't believe
that. Is hemp really legal? Or
they're when is cannabis going to be legal? I love Grab Labs. They always have a whole thing, so Very popular in the construction industry, no doubt. It's a hard job. You got to get some relief for it, for sure. And a question from Instagram: what was Lone Ranger? I don't think I quite understand that question.
Well, he was a guy that rode a horse. He wore a mask and he helped people. It's kind of like the A-Team of the 60s, you know. So he had Tano, it was just the two of them. It would have been pretty badass if they had, you know, someone like Mr. T with the Lone Ranger and Tonto and Mr. T. Maybe someone could bring back the series that way.
Let me see if I can maybe get a little more clarification on that question, or Cynthia can, and then let us know. We're super happy to answer it, but we're not totally sure on that. Okay, sweet. And okay, so Grace, how are you feeling about, can we drop in your new website and kind of do a little unveiling for the people, or how are you feeling about that?
Yes, we can. I am ready. Yes. I'm so proud of it.
I'm so excited for this. So that is not it. This is so, I should mention tomorrow, we're going to be recording and dropping next week. This awesome guy, Shriyan, I don't want to say his, I probably totally messed that up, but he's from India and he's been in the textile business for his family for like 40 years. He's got this Kickstarter campaign right now for these Himalayan hemp jeans. And he's been doing a lot of cool stuff with hemp. So he's going to join us. We're going to record tomorrow and drop that next week on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram for you guys. With the time change, he couldn't quite join us here on the live, but it's going to be really cool. So we're super stoked about that. Hemp jeans. I'm hoping we can convince him to send us some samples. We'll see. So
what's the process they use though to make them soft? Prima, or what's that?
Pima, like Pima cotton. Yeah. I'm gonna find out. He's got $13,000 already. He's already passed his goal. So these jeans are happening. $99. You can go in and make a pledge, and you're gonna get them. So we're gonna get all the scoop on that tomorrow and share it with you guys. But drum roll. Let's drop Texas Cannabis Today. I love this, Grace. This is the most beautiful template. It makes me want to burn my website and start over because it's so amazing. So walk us through the process of how this came about. We know you've been the Texas CBD blog for a long time. So what was this transformation like, and what is the mission of Texas Cannabis Today?
So the mission for Texas Cannabis Today is really just amplifying cannabis education and voices in Texas. And in addition to that, it's also just like the sustainability aspect as well, which is going to be eventually more rolled out as I gab all that content. But right now, it's really just focusing on what the word cannabis is. It is, you know, marijuana, and it is hemp legally, but just really talking about what hemp is in Texas, what we can do with it, how people can get involved, and really supporting all of the positive energy that is going into the not only just sustainability but wellness, and then in the future I would, you know, hope as it goes down into the cannabis reform in Texas, especially considering prohibition. El Paso was the first city to prohibit cannabis, and so it's also prohibition, us getting off on the right foot, is extremely important here in Texas. So the goal of the website, and one of the reasons why I transitioned, was just that I wanted to make sure that my mission was clear, that I wasn't here just for CBD and I wasn't here for that, but I also wanted to talk about what cannabis is and cannabis benefits, and done beautifully. Like, I've gone through so many different websites, and I'm finally super duper proud that I've landed on this one. I did so much work and so much research to get to this point. All of this is done myself, by the way. So as my side note, I am a web developer. So
did James help you?
He a little bit, but he really doesn't help at all.
Can I ask one question here? Do you help James more, or does he help you more?
It depends on what we're talking about. So he, like the language is more my thing, and just making sure it like looks decent, but he's good at really getting the hard stuff and the technical. If you have to go in there and change the code and something very specific, he can do that for me. So that's what I just
You
pass it
guys
off
are
to him.
both brilliant.
The dynamic web duo, no doubt. Well, it came out
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful, Grace, and I think it's going to be, amazing. I love this, amplifying cannabis education and voices in Texas. So being a platform where verified education, cannabis education can really reach an awesome audience that you've built, quite an amazing audience here in the state over the last, 3 years, I guess you've been creating this. So
What's the
how
website
cool.
address? What's that website
Texas
address again?
Cannabis Today.
Texas
Yeah,
Cannabis Today.
And
And
you have
that's
a
so
magazine.
also, that's another thing.
whoa.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
but
No, we're not talking about guns,
three
right? I can shift everyone's
Not
minds to
those- not
something else.
yeah, so four really important aspects of my website. What I wanted to make sure the mission was is I have a hemp calendar. So really people there, and there's be able to submit it. So in the top, events are listed there. Right now, people aren't posting that many events on Eventbrite and meetup.com. So in my website pulls from those. So if they have meetups and if they have events there, they can just send those to me and I can just put that in my calendar and it will automatically just pull up your events every single week. It just does a pull if you add new things. Super easy. Because at the end of and people can add their own if they want.
Very cool.
People can also locate hemp stores. So if it's also a really good on the back end for them as well. And I do have a free listing available if they want to add it. I still will contact people because I just want to make sure that they're legit and it's not somebody random that's listing a business. And then also if you want me to do some more work with you, I also have a plan where of course I can, I charge $10 a month to list it there or $100 a year. And I just monitor it and I make sure that everything looks good on there. So
very cool.
Brands, stores,
Wow.
people who have like, for kind of example, like Kinda Tropical, they have hemp pancakes. So I listed Kinda Tropical in there because they can find hemp food. So people are aware once they look in the search bar and hemp products, anybody who wants to, push products, talk to me about that. And then of course I have my partners page, which is my favorite page because my favorite people are listed on there. And so, and my website's kind of slow. That's what I'm working on. So yeah, so right there. So just people who are working with me and support. And this is more like the education where you kind of don't have a place on the website exactly. Like you really can't be listed as like a place where people go, or you don't really are listed as like a product, but you're providing a service and like we have a support for each other. So, and then of course I have here, I think everybody should join Texas Normal. So I'm a member of Texas Normal, so I put them there, and then it's just somebody who I am affiliated with. I don't, we don't have a partnership, but I support them as a member. So as content is built, it'll just get more organized as we move forward. But it's just putting the face of who I have worked with on a website where people can find it at the end of the day. So, and I also have hemp discount code. So if people have a discount code, throw it to me. If I like your product, I'll list it there in a big list.
I love it. Well, I think you're doing an amazing thing for the Texas hemp community and the overall cannabis community here as well. I think it's awesome. And speaking of Texas Normal, of course, the monthly normal meeting is next week, next Wednesday afternoon. So you can follow them on Instagram, Facebook, their website, and you can get the Zoom call-in details for that, where you can actually ask questions, or you can watch it on Facebook in a nice and easy way.
And what does Texas Normal stand for those that don't know?
It is the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Law. I said that with
That's
limited
amazing.
confidence. And the reason why you should listen next week is, as you guys know, our legislative session started a few weeks ago. So we're going to be getting the updates on what that climate's like, because we know Jax is there at the Capitol like every day working to try to figure out what bills are going to make it through. And that's what we're all waiting on, to see really what cannabis bills get even a chance. So then we can start calling our representatives and supporting whatever is on the table at that time. if we like it, which hopefully we will, which I think we like any change to what we
It's
have right
coming.
now. But we obviously have high priorities of like what we want to get done.
And as we always preach, it's just a buzz. It's just a buzz. Who cares? It's like, come on, guys,
right.
just buzz responsibly.
And I have to plug Grow House because they've been doing some amazing lives with Heather Fazio. I think it's on Wednesdays, but they'll have different ones where they're just really doing God's work when it comes to being an example for contacting the representatives and what that looks like before and after. I really appreciate that. As you'll know, I love it when people like explain the process and like really, if you look at my my content, that's very obvious. I like listing out things, and they do a really beautiful job at being an example of what it looks like to get us to reform. Because just as Heather Fazio said, this past one, it takes our action. She talks about how our actions will create reactions in order to keep moving. If we want this as Texas, we have to rally together. We have to contact our senators, and we have to stand up what we believe in. And while I know we're ending, and I do know that Clubhouse has definitely shine a big light on that with how other states are doing things and what we as Texans, because we have control with it, what we can do better. And I think that's my huge takeaway from my Clubhouse is just we're not trying to be better than other people. We just want to learn from other people so we can just make better everything at the end of the day. Because we're Texas, we have a lot of people, we will have influence if we can, combine our resources and do better than influence them in the future. So, but only if we work together.
Yeah, amen to all of that. I totally agree. Grow House is doing a great job. You can catch their lives on Instagram on Friday. And I think the one with Heather varies. I think I've seen it on Tuesday, but sometimes on Wednesday. So follow their page for the details on that. And before we get out of here, I want to let you know, of course, if you're a hemp brand, retailer, ancillary service, and you want to cut the bullshit of the hemp industry, that's our new slogan, then you can come join us at the Hemp Industry Inner Circle. This is invite only. There is an application process because we're cutting the bullshit. But you can go to hempbusinessbuilder.com and check out more about the program. It's $99 a month. That supports us in our mission in hemp. And in exchange for that $99, you get to network with legit people. You get growth strategies. You get meetup opportunities. And you get our guidance on basically anything to do with your business. So go check out hempbusinessbuilder.com. Consider joining the Inner Circle. And I'm going to be on this tonight on Clubhouse. If you just joined because you heard us talk about it for the last hour, check out Cannabis and Sports, the No Flex Zone. I think this would be 7 p.m. our time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Some really cool people that I met on Clubhouse a couple weeks ago. They're talking to some former pro athletes who have gotten the cannabis business. So it should be super fun. Love the intersection of cannabis and sports always. So go check that out. Of course, be sure to subscribe, follow, like, whatever you got to do here on Facebook so you can catch us every Thursday live on the Hemp Tours live filming. And if you can't for some reason, or you have friends not on Facebook, totally get it. Send them over to Spotify and iTunes, iHeartRadio, where they can hear the cutback tomorrow. So thank you so much for joining us, Grace. Go check out Texas Cannabis today, and we will see you next week.